Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when the stars align or your bank account hits a certain number. Now. Because the truth is this: your destiny is waiting, but your mind is distracted. You weren't born to live in chaos. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to scroll, snooze, stall, or settle. You were born with power. You were born with purpose. But the enemy standing between you and the life you were meant to live isn't your boss, your past, or your bank account. It's your unfocused mind. Your focus determines your future. It's not just a catchy phrase. It's a fundamental principle of success that governs everything from your relationships to your finances, from your health to your happiness. What you give your attention to multiplies. What you ignore fades. Most people don't realize that their life is simply the sum total of what they've chosen to focus on every single day. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's focus compounded over time that shapes who you become. Focus is the bridge between potential and progress. You can have the most incredible dreams, the biggest goals, and the most powerful ideas, but without focus, they're just noise in your head. Raw talent without focus is wasted energy. Ambition without focus is chaos. You can work hard, you can hustle, you can stay busy, but if you're not focused, you're just spinning in circles. You're making movement, but not progress. You're active, but not effective. There is no shortage of information in today's world. There's no shortage of opportunities. The real shortage is focused individuals who can lock in on a mission and refuse to be distracted by the noise. Your mind wants to wander. It wants comfort. It wants to drift to what's easy and entertaining. But focus is a discipline. It's not something you wait to feel. It's something you train, just like muscles. Your focus gets stronger the more you exercise it. We often think the biggest threat to our future is failure or rejection, but it's not. It's distraction. Distraction wears a mask. It looks innocent. It looks like checking your phone for a minute. It looks like saying yes to something that isn't aligned with your goals. It looks like putting off what matters for what's urgent. But over time, those tiny choices compound and pull you further and further from where you were meant to be. What you consistently focus on becomes your reality. If you constantly focus on problems, your life becomes a series of limitations. If you focus on solutions, you start to see possibilities. If you focus on what you lack, your life will feel like it's in shortage. But if you focus on what you have, what's working, what you can build on, your mind starts to shift into power mode. You begin to see doors that were always there, but only visible to those who choose focus over fear. Focus forces clarity. When you're truly focused, you stop entertaining every option and start locking in on the right one. You stop scattering your energy across 10 different tasks and instead pour it into one meaningful pursuit. And that's when results start to show. That's when progress becomes visible. It's not that the opportunity changed, it's that you changed. Your mind aligned, your energy aligned, your decisions aligned. And when you align, you accelerate. People often chase shortcuts, hacks, or the next best strategy, thinking that's what will lead them to success. But the real shortcut is focus. The real secret weapon is being able to block out the noise, say no to what doesn't serve you, and put your full energy into what moves you forward. Focus is what makes average people extraordinary. It's what turns ordinary actions into unstoppable momentum. Every day, life gives you a choice to scatter or to sharpen, to drift or to direct. Your time, energy, and attention are limited resources. Where you place them determines the trajectory of your life, not someday, today. Focus isn't something you find, it's something you decide. Distraction is the modern day enemy. It doesn't come with warning signs or sirens. It doesn't announce its presence with a loud bang. It creeps in silently, dressed as entertainment, disguised as productivity, wrapped in the illusion of just for a minute. It's subtle, seductive, and dangerous. Unlike the enemies of the past, fear, poverty, external pressure, today's greatest threat to your progress is the constant pull on your attention. Every second of the day, the battlefield isn't out there, it's right between your ears. In this age of endless content and infinite stimulation, distraction has become normalized. We wake up and check our phones before we check in with ourselves. We scroll for hours but say we have no time. We're connected to the world but disconnected from our purpose. The average person today is bombarded with more information in a week than someone a century ago encountered in a lifetime. But more information doesn't mean more clarity. It often means more confusion. The brain wasn't built to process everything. It was built to focus on what matters. But when everything seems urgent, we lose sight of what's important. Distraction wears many masks. It's not just social media or Netflix. It can be busyness disguised as importance. It can be comparison dressed up as ambition. It can even be over-planning and overthinking that keeps you stuck in a loop of preparation with no action. One of the most dangerous forms of distraction is when it feels like you're making progress, but you're actually just procrastinating in disguise. You attend webinars, read books, and fill notebooks with ideas, but execution, that keeps getting postponed, not because you're lazy, but because you're distracted. It's not about whether or not distractions exist. They always will. The real issue is how much power you give them. Every time you let a notification interrupt your thought process, you train your mind to be reactive instead of intentional. Every time you break your concentration for a quick dopamine hit, you weaken the muscle of discipline. Over time, the ability to sit still, to think deeply, to build something meaningful without instant gratification starts to fade. The world begins to reward quick consumption, not deep creation. And that's where dreams start to die. Distraction doesn't just cost you time, it costs you momentum. You may lose 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there, but it's not about the minutes, it's about the restart. Every time you break focus, you reset your internal gears. It takes time to get back into rhythm, to re-enter the mental zone where real breakthroughs happen. And if that cycle continues throughout the day, you spend your energy rebooting instead of building. It's a silent tax that robs you of flow, power, and progress. We've learned to live in a state of fragmented attention. Our minds bounce from one task to another like skipping stones across the surface of water, never diving deep. But deep work, real, focused, transformative work requires solitude, patience, and resistance to distraction. It demands an intentional withdrawal from the noise so that your voice, your ideas, and your purpose can rise above it. If you're constantly plugged into everyone else's life, you'll never build your own with intention. Distraction is the thief that looks harmless. It offers you relief, escape, and temporary pleasure. But behind that shiny surface, it steals your hours, your energy, your clarity, and your calling. It convinces you that you'll get to it later, that you can afford to delay, that there's always tomorrow. But tomorrow is shaped by today's focus or lack of it. Every moment you let slip away to meaningless input is a moment stolen from your vision, your growth, your goals. The most dangerous thing about distraction is how comfortable it becomes. It trains you to live with urgency, but without intention. You start reacting to life instead of creating it. You become addicted to stimulation, uncomfortable in silence, and resistant to stillness. And without stillness, there's no vision. Without vision, there's no direction. And without direction, you're busy but lost. Your mind must be mastered because it will not automatically serve you. It will often sabotage you if left unchecked. It has the power to elevate your life or keep you stuck in cycles of hesitation, fear, and mediocrity. Most people think their mind is just a tool they use, but the truth is the mind is more like a wild force. It must be trained, directed, and disciplined. Without mastery, your thoughts run wild, and when your thoughts run wild, your life follows in chaos. Mastery isn't optional if you want to live with clarity, purpose, and impact. The mind is a storyteller, and it's constantly creating narratives about who you are, what you're capable of, what's possible for you, and what's not. But here's the problem. Not every story your mind tells you is true. In fact, most of them are built from fear, past failures, and borrowed beliefs. Left alone, your mind will replay every mistake you've made, magnify every insecurity, and convince you to shrink yourself down to avoid risk. Mastering your mind means challenging those stories. It means asking, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is this belief built on truth or just repetition? There's a war happening inside your head between the version of you that wants to grow and the version that wants to stay comfortable. The mind seeks familiarity. It wants to keep you safe, and often safe means small. It will justify inaction. It will overthink opportunity. It will dress up fear as logic. Mastery means recognizing that comfort is not the goal, growth is. And growth begins the moment you stop treating every thought as a command and start treating it as a suggestion that needs to be tested. Your emotions are powerful, but they're not permanent. One of the most important aspects of mastering the mind is learning to observe your emotions without obeying them. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel unmotivated and still show up. The people who win don't feel amazing every day. They've just learned not to be ruled by their moods. Mastery is about building the ability to act from commitment, not just emotion. It's about creating a mindset that supports your goals even when life feels heavy. Mental mastery also means becoming intentional about what you feed your mind. Just like your body reflects what you eat, your mindset reflects what you consume. Every book, every conversation, every post you scroll past, it's all programming you. If you feed your mind garbage, don't be surprised when your thoughts start to rot. But if you surround yourself with challenge, truth, and high-level thinking, your mind will rise to meet the standard you've set. Mastery requires protecting your input as fiercely as you protect your time. One of the biggest signs your mind is untrained is that it seeks escape more than it seeks solutions. Whenever things get hard, the unmastered mind looks for a way out, numbing, avoiding, pretending. But the trained mind leans in. It asks better questions. It refuses to fold under pressure because it understands that resistance is the pathway to resilience. Training your mind isn't about avoiding struggle. It's about developing the internal strength to walk through it with courage and strategy. Your habits, your decisions, your discipline, all of it is shaped by the condition of your mind. If you let fear dominate, your habits will be weak. If you let doubt linger, your decisions will be hesitant. But when you master your mind, you create alignment. You start acting in harmony with your highest self instead of reacting from your lowest patterns. And that's when change becomes sustainable. Not just bursts of effort, but a lifestyle of power, focus, and forward motion. Mastering your mind takes time. It takes repetition. It takes patience. But above all, it takes awareness. You can't fix what you won't face. You can't lead what you won't learn to listen to. Mastery doesn't mean perfection. It means control. It means knowing how to shift gears when you're spiraling, how to choose faith when fear creeps in, and how to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to pause. You are one decision away from a different life. Not 100, not a dozen, one. The power of a single focused and courageous choice has the potential to redirect the entire course of your journey. Most people overestimate the complexity of transformation and underestimate the force of commitment. They think change has to be a massive, overwhelming process, but in reality, everything begins with a moment, one moment where you say enough is enough and you draw a line in the sand. That decision can be quiet or loud, but it's always defining. We often delay change because we think we need more information, more certainty, more time. But the truth is, waiting for clarity is usually just fear in disguise. Life rarely hands you perfect timing. It doesn't come with guarantees. What it gives you is opportunity dressed as uncertainty. The decision you've been putting off, the one that scares you, the one that stretches you, that's the very door to the life you say you want. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to decide that staying the same is no longer an option. Every breakthrough starts with a decision to break away. Break away from habits that no longer serve you. Break away from the identity that keeps you stuck. Break away from the stories you've told yourself about who you are and what you're allowed to have. That one decision could be the start of a business, the end of an excuse, the beginning of healing, or the moment you finally commit to becoming who you were always meant to be. Change doesn't require permission, it requires intention. The mind loves to complicate things. It wants 10 steps, a safety net, and a fallback plan before it even considers moving. But life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. A single decision made with clarity and urgency can collapse time. What would have taken years through indecision and fear can take months when you move with conviction. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is often just one decision wide, and that decision is always in your control. There's a moment in everyone's life where the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of change. That's the moment where real decisions are made, not the kind you say out loud, but the kind you feel deep in your spirit. A decision that's not just made in your mind, but etched into your identity. When you decide to change your life, really decide, the universe responds. People show up. Resources align. Energy shifts. Not because the world changed, but because you did. That one decision isn't about perfection, it's about direction. It's not about being fearless, it's about choosing to act in spite of the fear. The most powerful decisions are rarely made in moments of comfort. They're made when you're tired of your own excuses. When you're done tolerating the gap between your potential and your performance, when you realize that no one is coming to save you and that you have the authority to rescue yourself, that's where power is born. Think about the decisions you've made that changed everything. Maybe it was the moment you walked away. Maybe it was the moment you started. Maybe it was a simple yes or a long overdue no. And yet look at how those moments shaped you. They weren't accidents, they were choices. You didn't need more time. You needed that moment of courage. And that same power is still inside of you right now, waiting for the next decision to be made. What keeps most people stuck is not that they don't want more, it's that they keep postponing the decision to go after it. They let fear speak louder than vision. They wait for signs instead of becoming the signal. But the truth is, the life you dream of is already waiting. The opportunity is already there. The strength is already within you. And it all begins with a decision. One powerful, committed choice that says, I will no longer be a prisoner to hesitation. Environment doesn't control you, your mind does. It's easy to blame your surroundings, your circumstances, or your upbringing for where you are. It's convenient to point to the external and say, this is why I'm stuck, or this is why I can't move forward. But the truth is, what's around you doesn't define you, it only influences you to the degree that you allow it. The strongest force in your life is not your environment, it's your interpretation of it. Two people can grow up in the same neighborhood, under the same pressure, and live two completely different lives. The difference isn't the setting, it's the mindset. Your environment may shape the beginning of your story, but your mind writes the rest of it. Some people are raised in limitation, but train their thinking for abundance. Others grow up with access and advantage, but still find themselves living in doubt and defeat. That's proof right there that external conditions don't determine destiny. Your mind, how you see, how you think, how you respond, builds your reality from the inside out. You can't always choose your environment, but you can always choose the meaning you attach to it. We are conditioned to believe that if we just had better surroundings, more supportive people, more resources, more freedom, then we could finally rise. But the truth is, everything you need to shift your life starts within. There are people with less who are doing more because they made a decision not to let their environment dictate their worth. They stopped looking around for validation and started looking within for vision. When your inner world becomes stronger than your outer world, no environment can break you. Some people live in chaos but carry peace. Others live in luxury and still feel lost. That's the power of the mind. When you understand that your thoughts, not your surroundings, create your experience, you start to rise above conditions. You stop waiting for the world to calm down before you find clarity. You stop expecting your situation to change before you shift your state. That's mental maturity, realizing that the control you've been searching for is already in your hands. Blaming your environment keeps you passive. It keeps you waiting. It convinces you that something or someone else must shift before you take ownership. But the mind that's mastered doesn't wait. It leads. It decides. It rewires meaning and reclaims power. You can walk into any room, any city, any situation, and still carry the same mindset that wins. You can be surrounded by doubt and still believe. You can be underestimated and still perform, because when your identity is built internally, no external environment can strip it away. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about deciding that reality doesn't get the final say. Your background is not your ceiling. Your current condition is not your conclusion. The mind that is anchored in vision sees beyond what is and starts moving toward what could be. That's why some people thrive in adversity. They've trained their thoughts to serve their future, not their fear. And when that happens, even in environments that should break them, they build. Changing your environment might help. But if your mind stays the same, you'll eventually recreate the same cycles. You'll find the same frustration in a different place. The same limitation in a new job, the same emptiness in a new relationship. Because nothing changes until you do. You can't escape the environment, but if you don't upgrade your thinking, you'll still be trapped. The most powerful shift you can make is not moving to a new place, it's moving to a new mindset. Your surroundings may challenge you, test you, and try to define you. But the mind you train determines whether you shrink or expand, whether you become a product of your environment or a creator in spite of it. It's not about controlling what's around you. It's about mastering what's within you. That's where your real authority lives. That's where the shift begins. That's how you change your life from the inside out. Discipline beats motivation every time, because motivation is fleeting, but discipline is foundational. Motivation feels good. It gives you a rush, a spark, a wave of energy that can get you moving, but like a wave, it rises and crashes. You can't rely on something so inconsistent to build something so permanent. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care how you feel. It shows up regardless. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the right mood. Discipline is the system you build that keeps you in motion long after the feelings have faded. There are days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Days when you're tired, uninspired, and the last thing you want to do is push forward. Those are the days that separate the committed from the casual. Because it's easy to work hard when you're excited. It's easy to stick to your plan when everything is going well. But what about when life gets heavy? What about when no one's watching, cheering, or validating you. Discipline steps in where motivation checks out. It's what carries you through the silence, through the setbacks, through the slow seasons when results are invisible. Discipline is a decision. It's not a personality trait or a special talent reserved for a chosen few. It's a muscle that anyone can build. It's the quiet agreement between who you are now and who you're committed to becoming. When you're disciplined, you don't need to negotiate with yourself every morning. You don't need to ask, do I feel like it? Because the answer is irrelevant. The goal is what matters. The commitment is what speaks. Discipline frees you from the trap of emotion-based action. People wait for motivation as if it's some magical force that guarantees success. But waiting for motivation is the same as waiting for perfect weather to build a house. You don't build greatness on good feelings. You build it on structure, consistency, and habits. Discipline gives you structure. It turns dreams into routines. It takes the vision and makes it real through repetition. And the more you repeat, the more you evolve, not because you're inspired, but because you're consistent. Discipline builds confidence. Every time you follow through, even when you don't feel like it, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. That trust compounds. It turns into self-respect. And self-respect turns into identity. Eventually, you stop identifying as someone who's trying and you start becoming someone who is. That shift doesn't come from hype, it comes from habits. Discipline is how you align your actions with your standards, and that alignment creates momentum that no emotion can match. Motivation is external, triggered by a speech, a song, a video, or a moment. Discipline is internal. It's built in silence. It's shaped in private. It's created in the trenches of repetition where no one is clapping and nothing feels glamorous. That's where champions are made, not in moments of hype, but in hours of consistency. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I care what I'm building. That kind of mentality is rare, and it's what separates the temporary from the timeless. Discipline is what gives your goals weight. Without it, they're just wishes. With it, they become non-negotiables. You stop making excuses. You stop accepting mediocrity. You stop settling for progress that only comes when conditions are perfect. Discipline trains your body, sharpens your mind, and refines your character. And over time, it builds a foundation so strong that no circumstance can shake it. That's the difference between people who succeed once and people who succeed repeatedly. Discipline is their anchor. While motivation can start the engine, discipline is what keeps the wheels turning. It's the daily grind, the invisible effort, the decision to show up again and again, even when the results haven't caught up yet. That kind of consistency rewires your mind. It teaches you that greatness isn't about intensity, it's about endurance. It's not about what you do once in a while when you feel fired up. It's about what you do every single day, especially when you don't. You don't need more time, you need more focus. The lie we often tell ourselves is that if we just had a few extra hours in the day, we'd get everything done. But time isn't the issue. We all have the same 24 hours. What separates the productive from the perpetually busy isn't more hours. It's deeper focus. You can have all the time in the world, but if your mind is scattered, distracted, and constantly chasing every notification and every impulse, you'll burn hours and still feel behind. Focus is the real multiplier of time. Most people don't suffer from a lack of time, they suffer from mental clutter. They sit down to work, but their thoughts are divided. They chase a goal for 5 minutes, then check their phone. They start a project and switch to something else halfway through, and at the end of the day, they wonder why nothing meaningful got finished. Time didn't fail them, focus did. When your attention is fragmented, your results are too. Shallow focus produces shallow progress, and shallow progress leads to frustration because you're busy but not effective. Focus is a discipline, not a mood. It's not something you wait for. It's something you create. It means deciding what matters most and ruthlessly eliminating what doesn't. It means choosing depth over distraction, clarity over chaos. Focus is saying no, not just to bad things, but to good things that aren't great. Not every opportunity is aligned with your mission. Not every task deserves your attention. When you're focused, you stop trying to do everything and you start doing the right things on purpose and with intensity. We live in a culture addicted to urgency. Everything is a notification. Everything is trying to pull you in 1,000 directions. And in the middle of all that noise, the ability to focus has become a superpower. The more distracted the world becomes, the more valuable your attention becomes. If you can learn to protect it, to harness it, to direct it fully at your goals, you'll move faster than people with twice your resources because you won't be spinning in circles. You'll be moving with precision. Focus also brings peace. When you're locked in on what matters, you stop overthinking. You stop comparing. You stop jumping from one thing to the next trying to find fulfillment. Focus simplifies your path. It makes your decisions easier. It makes your work more meaningful. It removes the mental fatigue that comes from constantly switching gears. It clears out the fog and gives you something solid to pursue. And when your mind is clear, your momentum is unstoppable. The truth is, focus is a form of respect. It's how you show your goals that they matter. It's how you treat your time as valuable instead of disposable. When you focus, you're telling the world and yourself that what you're building is worth your full attention, that your dream deserves more than your leftovers, that your purpose is not just a side note, it's the headline. Focus turns effort into excellence. It turns motion into mastery. It turns potential into progress. People who win aren't always the smartest or most talented. They're often just the most focused. They chose one thing and poured themselves into it with everything they had. While others were distracted by noise, they stayed committed to the signal. While others were trying to do everything, they mastered one thing. Focus doesn't limit your freedom, it amplifies your impact. It gives you the power to go deep, not just wide. And depth is where transformation happens. You don't need more time to reach your goals. You need to stop leaking time through distraction. Every hour you give to something meaningless is an hour stolen from your mission. Every minute wasted in indecision is a minute you could have spent building. Focus is the discipline of kings, the tool of builders, the edge of champions. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters with everything you've got. Cut the clutter, get clear. In today's world, we are overwhelmed by noise, distractions, and endless to-do lists. Our attention is pulled in every direction, from social media notifications to emails to the demands of everyday life. But the truth is, all this clutter is clouding your ability to focus on what really matters. When your mind is constantly juggling 1,000 tasks, your clarity is lost. You end up spinning your wheels working hard without a clear sense of purpose and wondering why you're not making the progress you desire. The first step in achieving greatness is to eliminate the clutter, because only when you clear the noise can you hear your own voice and align your actions with your true goals. Clutter doesn't just refer to physical mess. It's mental, emotional, and digital as well. We carry the weight of unfinished projects, unprocessed thoughts, and unresolved feelings. These distractions drain your energy without you even realizing it. Every time your mind jumps from one thought to another, it chips away at your focus and your capacity to be present. Clutter steals your mental bandwidth. It scatters your energy and makes it impossible to focus deeply on any one task. You're always on the surface, never diving into the depths where real results are made. To truly get clear, you must begin by recognizing that clutter is not just an inconvenience, it's a barrier to your success. The more clutter you have in your life, the more overwhelmed you'll feel. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to do everything at once, thinking that multitasking will make you more efficient. But research shows that multitasking isn't efficient at all. It divides your focus, slows you down, and reduces your effectiveness. Instead of doing more, it often results in doing less and doing it poorly. When you cut the clutter, you give yourself the gift of focus. You prioritize what matters and eliminate the distractions that pull you away from your most important tasks. This focused approach allows you to work with intention and accomplish more in less time. To get clear, you must simplify. Simplification is not about reducing your dreams or ambitions. It's about narrowing your focus so you can channel your energy into what truly drives you. When you simplify your life, you remove unnecessary distractions and create space for what aligns with your goals. You stop chasing everything and start pursuing the things that truly move you forward. Whether it's letting go of activities that no longer serve you, eliminating negative influences, or organizing your physical space, simplifying allows you to see what's important and act on it with laser focus. One of the most powerful steps in cutting clutter is learning to say no. We are conditioned to think that saying yes to everything will make us liked, productive, or successful. But the truth is, every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you're saying no to your own dreams. Saying no isn't about rejecting opportunities. It's about honoring your values and committing to what will truly move the needle. When you learn to say no with confidence, you free up your time, energy, and resources to focus on what's truly worth your attention. No more scattered efforts. No more chasing after fleeting distractions. Instead, you build a clear path forward, focused on your goals. Clearing the clutter also involves decluttering your mind. Many of us live with constant mental chatter, worrying about what we haven't done, thinking about things that happened in the past, or obsessing over things that might never happen. This mental clutter drains your energy and clouds your decision making. To get clear, you must practice mindfulness and learn to quiet the noise in your mind. Meditation, journaling, or simply taking a few moments of silence can help you regain focus and bring clarity to your thoughts. When your mind is clear, your actions become intentional, and you can make decisions based on what truly serves you rather than reacting to outside pressures. Digital clutter is another form of distraction that can prevent you from getting clear in the age of technology. We are constantly bombarded with information, emails, social media updates, news feeds, and messages. This constant influx of information can make it hard to concentrate on one task, let alone pursue your goals with purpose. Cutting the digital clutter requires setting boundaries. It means checking emails at designated times instead of constantly reacting to every ping. It means unfollowing accounts that drain your energy and filling your digital space with sources of inspiration and focus. When you manage your digital environment, you create more space for deep work, creativity, and meaningful progress. Once the clutter is cut and clarity is achieved, you unlock your true potential. You stop spinning your wheels and start moving forward with purpose and precision. Your energy is no longer wasted on distractions, your focus sharpens, and you begin to make real progress toward your goals. Life becomes less chaotic, and success feels more within reach. Getting clear isn't just about organizing your environment. It's about aligning your mind, heart, and actions with what truly matters to you. The clearer your path, the faster you can walk it. The less clutter you have in your life, the more space you create for the things that bring you peace, fulfillment, and success. Burn the bridges to distraction. In a world filled with constant interruptions, notifications, and temptations, distractions are the silent killers of progress. Every time you allow your focus to wander, you trade your time and energy for something fleeting. You tell yourself that you'll get back to the task at hand, that you'll regain your momentum. But the truth is, distractions don't just steal minutes, they steal your future. They erode your productivity, your creativity, and your sense of purpose. In order to build something great, you must be willing to sever ties with the distractions that keep you from your goals. Distraction often comes in the form of familiar, seemingly harmless activities: social media, emails, television, random internet browsing. These are all bridges to nowhere. They promise quick relief or a brief escape from the work at hand, but in reality, they pull you further away from your mission. Each time you click on a new link, check your phone, or get caught up in a conversation that doesn't serve your purpose, you let the clock slip away. Time is your most precious resource, and every moment spent on distractions is a moment you can't get back. The path to success is paved with intention, and you can't be intentional if you're constantly detoured by these digital and mental distractions. When you burn the bridges to distraction, you stop living reactively. You take control of your environment instead of allowing the environment to control you. This means turning off notifications, setting boundaries with people, and organizing your space so that every inch of it reflects your focus. Your phone becomes a tool, not a time thief. Your workspace becomes a sanctuary for deep work, not a playground for procrastination. By consciously choosing to cut off easy access to distractions, you create an environment that supports your goals rather than undermining them. You become proactive instead of reactive. You stop giving your attention to everything and start directing it toward what matters. It's easy to blame the distractions. We've all heard the excuses. I don't have enough time, or I'm too tired to focus. But in reality, the problem isn't the distractions themselves, it's your relationship with them. You've allowed them to become the default. You've given them permission to interrupt your flow, to dictate how you spend your time, and to make you feel like your goals aren't important enough to fight for. Burning the bridges to distraction means taking responsibility for your choices. It means saying, I will not be diverted. I will not let temporary gratification steal my long-term success. The more disciplined you become with your focus, the less power distractions will have over you. Burning these bridges also means recognizing that some distractions are toxic. Certain people, environments, and habits can pull you off course in ways that go beyond mere inconvenience. Negative influences, whether it's toxic relationships, environments of chaos, or constant drama, drain your energy and keep you from staying focused. These are the bridges that need to be burned for good. You must learn to set firm boundaries, to remove yourself from places and people that don't support your growth. You can't afford to waste time on relationships or environments that take more from you than they give. Burn the bridges that leave you depleted and find the spaces and people that fuel your ambition. When you burn the bridges to distraction, you stop waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation is often a fleeting feeling, coming and going with no warning. It's easy to rely on motivation to get you through the tough times, but the truth is, motivation doesn't last. Discipline does. And discipline is what you need when the distractions are calling your name. You create systems and routines that are built on consistent actions regardless of how you feel. You set your priorities and guard them with your focus. You structure your day so that it works for you, not against you. The less room you leave for distractions, the more energy you can invest in your purpose. The key to burning these bridges is understanding the power of what you focus on. Every time you let yourself be pulled away from your mission, you allow a distraction to control your thoughts and actions. But when you focus on the right things, on the work that moves you closer to your goals, your mind becomes a force of nature. You begin to develop a momentum that no distraction can slow. The less you indulge in time-wasting habits, the more time you free up for what truly matters. It's about redirecting your energy toward what you can control and eliminating everything that pulls you away from your highest potential. Ultimately, burning the bridges to distraction is an act of self-respect. It's about recognizing that your time, your focus, and your energy are valuable. You are worthy of creating the space to focus on your dreams. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you say yes to something greater. You align your actions with your ambitions and give your best effort to what will bring you closer to the life you want. And as you burn those bridges, you start building something new, a life where your goals are non-negotiable, your time is sacred, and distractions have no place in your world. Conquer your mind, conquer your world. The way you think shapes the way you live. Everything you experience, your successes, your failures, your relationships, your growth, starts with your mind. If your mind is cluttered, chaotic, or weak, your world will reflect that. But when your mind is disciplined, focused, and powerful, your external world begins to change in ways you never imagined. You see, your outer reality is merely a reflection of the thoughts you consistently entertain. If you want to change your life, you must first master your thoughts, because your mind is the starting point of all transformation. The mind is the battleground where success and failure are decided. It's not the external circumstances that determine your outcomes. It's how you interpret those circumstances. Two people can face the same challenge and experience entirely different results. One person might see it as an opportunity to grow, while the other sees it as a roadblock. The difference lies in their mental framework. The person who conquers their mind approaches every challenge with the mindset of a conqueror, confident, resilient, and focused on solutions. The other, distracted by doubt and fear, remains stuck. To conquer the world, you must first learn to conquer your mind and the stories it tells you. The greatest battle you will ever fight is against the limitations you impose on yourself. Your mind can either be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. When you allow your doubts, fears, and insecurities to dominate your thinking, you're effectively allowing your mind to control you. These negative thoughts create a prison, and the more you give in to them, the smaller your world becomes. But when you master your mind, you break free from those chains. You begin to see possibilities where others see problems. You develop the mental fortitude to push through adversity and stay focused on your purpose. Conquering your mind is the first step to conquering your world, because without that internal victory, the external world will continue to feel like an insurmountable mountain. Your mind is like a garden. If you leave it unattended, weeds of negativity, fear, and doubt will overtake it. If you feed it with empowering thoughts, positive affirmations, and an unshakable belief in your own abilities, it will flourish. The mind requires constant care and attention. It's not enough to conquer your mind once and expect lasting change. You must cultivate a mindset of resilience, discipline, and positivity on a daily basis. This means intentionally choosing your thoughts and not letting your circumstances dictate your mindset. Just as you wouldn't allow weeds to grow in your garden, you shouldn't allow negative thoughts to take root in your mind. When you control your mind, you gain control over your emotions and actions. Emotions are powerful, but they are fleeting. If you let your emotions drive your decisions, you'll be on an unpredictable ride. One moment you're motivated, the next moment you're defeated. But when your mind is in control, you can observe your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. This detachment allows you to make rational, deliberate choices, even when the emotional storms of life are raging. You stop reacting to life and you start responding to it with intention. This inner stability is the foundation of conquering not only your mind, but also your world. The power of the mind is that it can be reprogrammed. No matter how long you've lived with certain limiting beliefs or self-sabotaging patterns, you can change your mindset. Reprogramming your mind requires discipline, consistency, and a willingness to let go of old ways of thinking. It's about choosing to believe in your potential regardless of your past or present circumstances. By repeatedly choosing empowering thoughts and reinforcing them with action, you begin to shift your mental landscape. Over time, the mental habits that once held you back will be replaced with thoughts that propel you forward, and your world will shift accordingly. Mastering your mind also means mastering your focus. The world is full of distractions, and it's easy to get sidetracked by the endless demands of life. But if you can harness the power of focus, you become unstoppable. Focus is the key that unlocks your potential. When you can direct your attention toward your goals and eliminate the noise, you begin to create meaningful progress. Focus is not just about working hard, it's about working smart. It's about directing your energy and effort toward what truly matters while letting go of the things that drain you. When your mind is clear and focused, you can move through the world with purpose and precision. To conquer your mind is to align your thoughts with your actions. Your beliefs shape your behaviors, and your behaviors shape your results. If you believe you can't achieve something, your actions will reflect that belief. But when you believe that you are capable of anything, your actions will align with that conviction. You will start to take risks, make decisions, and push yourself in ways you never thought possible. Conquering your mind means eliminating the limiting beliefs that have kept you small and replacing them with empowering beliefs that unlock your full potential. And as your mind changes, so does your world. The more you believe in your ability to create the life you want, the more you take actions that turn that belief into reality.